5. Weather and climate. In this chapter, we will learn about weather, climate, variations in climate, climatic zones on Earth, and do MCQs, true and false, WH questions, do map work, hone our life skills. People live in different ways in different parts of the world. They live in different types of houses, eat different types of food, and wear different types of clothes. Even in our country, people living in different regions have different lifestyles. This is because of the different climatic conditions. Weather and climate. Weather is the condition of air temperature, air pressure, wind, humidity, and rainfall at a given time and place. It changes every day. For example, a cloudy day may become sunny or a calm day may suddenly become windy. We may experience different weather conditions in the morning and evening. Changes in weather conditions give rise to seasons. In India, we have summer, rainy season, and winter. Other countries of the world also experience different seasons. Seasons affect our food, clothes, houses, and the crops. Accordingly, our lifestyle varies from place to place. It also varies from season to season. The weather condition that prevails over a large area and for a long period is called the climate of that area. The climate of a place remains more or less the same year after year. Different places in the world experience different types of climate. Some regions are hot and wet throughout the year. Some regions are hot and dry. In some areas, the land is covered by a thick layer of snow and ice. The climate is cold in such areas. In many parts of the world, it is neither very hot nor very cold, and there is moderate rainfall. On the basis of prevailing climate conditions, we can roughly divide the Earth into 7 climatic regions. Why does the climate change? The temperature of the air is the most important element that determines the climate of a place. You know that the sun is the main source of heat for us on Earth. It gives off the same amount of heat at all times. Yet, all places on Earth do not receive the same amount of heat. Also, in a day, it is warmer at noon than in the morning and evening. To understand why the climate varies, we must know about the distribution of heat all over the Earth. Distance from the equator. The position of a place on the Earth in relation to the equator is known as latitude. The latitude of a place is measured in terms of its distance from the equator towards one of the poles. Any point on the equator has a latitude of 0 degrees. We see the rays of the sun falling on the surface of the earth. They fall all over it from the North Pole to the South Pole. Near the equator, the sun rays are vertical and spread over a small area. In the polar regions, the sun rays reaching the surface are slanting. They cover a larger area. Thus, areas near the equator receives more heat than those near the poles. Height above sea level. The altitude refers to the height of a place above the sea level. The altitude has an effect on the temperature and atmospheric pressure. Air becomes cooler as we go higher above the sea level. That is why places at high altitudes have become famous as hill stations. Most peaks in the Himalayan mountains are covered with snow and ice even during summer. The atmospheric pressure is more at the sea level. It decreases as we go higher and higher. Thus, altitude is another factor which influences climate. Distance from the sea. Places located near the sea coast are influenced by the sea. Let us compare Delhi and Chennai, the capital of Tamil Nadu, during summer. Delhi is located very far from the sea in the northern part of India. Chennai in South India lies along the eastern coast. Chennai is also nearer to the equator than Delhi. As we know, places near the equator have higher temperature than those away from it. Thus, during summer, Chennai should be hotter than Delhi. But this is not so. Delhi is very hot in summer and very cold in winter. On the other hand, Chennai is neither very hot in summer nor very cold in winter. This is because Chennai is near the sea coast. The sea has a moderating influence on the climate. Delhi has an extreme climate, while Chennai has a moderate climate. The effect of distance from the equator has been modified by the distance from the sea. Thus, places near the sea coast have a moderate climate and those located in the interiors have an extreme climate. Direction of winds. The direction of winds also affects the temperature of a place. Winds result from the uneven heating of the air around the earth. Air heated by the sun expands and rises, and cooler air flows to take its place, producing belts of prevailing winds. Prevailing winds in tropical area blow from east to west. Winds in the middle altitudes tend to blow from west to east. But these winds and winds near the poles are variable in direction because winds transport heat and moisture. They affect temperature, humidity, precipitation, rain, dew, etc., and cloudiness of an area. Humidity and rainfall. The amount of moisture or water vapor present in the air affects the temperature or climate of a place. Moisture in the air is called humidity. The amount of humidity in the air depends upon the location of a place and the direction of winds. If the wind is passing over a warm water body, it will increase the humidity. Humid air can cause rainfall, which is more important than humidity in the air. The amount of rainfall and the time when it falls decide the climate of the area. At many places, owing to other weather elements, There may be snowfall in place of rainfall. All places do not receive the same amount of rainfall and not at the same time. The distribution and the amount of rainfall is different at different places. Climatic or heat zones. On the basis of difference in temperature and rainfall, we can divide the earth into three climatic or heat zones. Torrid zones. The torrid zone lies on both sides of the equator and are between the Tropic of Cancer in the north and the Tropic of Capricorn in the south. This zone is also called the tropical zone. In this zone, the climate is hot and humid throughout the year because the sun's rays fall vertically on this area. Temperate zones. The area lying between the torrid zone and the frigid zone in both the hemispheres is called the temperate zone. This area is neither very hot nor very cold as it is away from the equator. Frigid zone. The area lying between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and between the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere is called the frigid zone. This area remains very cold throughout the year. In the northern hemisphere, it is called the North Frigid Zone. In the southern hemisphere, it is called the South Frigid Zone. It is now clear that as we move from the equator towards the poles, the temperature decreases. To understand the influences of climate on the lifestyles of the people, we will study one region in each climatic division in the following chapters. New words. Altitude, height above the sea level. Humidity, amount of water vapor in the air. Tropic, the area of the earth which lies just to north and south of the equator and is hot throughout the year. Recap. Weather is the condition of air temperature, air pressure, wind, humidity, and rainfall at a given time and place. The weather condition that prevails over a large area and for a long period is called climate of that area. Temperature varies in different parts of the world. Temperature is an important factor of climate. The distance of a place from the equator decides the climate of the place. At higher altitudes, temperatures are low and they begin to increase with fall in height. The climate of the places in the coastal region is moderate. The direction of winds also affects the temperature of a place. The earth is divided into three climatic or heat zones: the torrid zone, hot and humid climate; the temperate zone, moderate climate; and the frigid zone, very cold climate.